North Korea has said it is considering a missile strike on the U.S. Pacific territory of Guam, just hours after Donald Trump warned the regime that any threat to the United States would be met with fire and fury. The threat, carried by the state-run KCNA news agency, marked a dramatic rise in tensions and prompted warnings to Washington not to become embroiled in a bellicose slanging match with North Korea. Pyongyang said it was carefully examining a plan to strike Guam, located 3,400 kilometers (2,100 miles) away, and threatened to create an enveloping fire around the territory. Guam is home to a U.S. military base that includes a submarine squadron, an airbase and a coastguard group. Guam explainer Guam's governor, Eddie Calvo, on Wednesday attempted to reassure residents that there was no threat of a North Korean strike, but added that the island was prepared for any eventuality. Calvo added, "Guam is American soil. We are not just a military installation." In an online video message, he said he had been told by the U.S. Defense and Homeland Security departments that there was no change in the threat level. A Korean People's Army (KPA) spokesman said in a statement Wednesday that a plan would be put into practice as soon as the order to attack Guam was issued by the country's leader, Kim Jong. The KPA Strategic Force is now carefully examining the operational plan for making an enveloping fire at the areas around Guam with medium to long-range strategic ballistic rocket Hwasong-12 in order to contain the U.S. major military bases on Guam, including the Anderson Air Force Base, the spokesman said. KCNA quoted a Second Army spokesman accusing Washington of devising a preventive war, adding that any attempt to attack the North would provoke all-out war, wiping out all the strongholds of enemies, including the U.S. mainland. The U.S. should cease its reckless military provocation against North Korea to avoid such a reaction, the spokesman added. In response, South Korea's President, Moon Jae, called for an overhaul of the country's armed services, citing an urgent need to improve its ability to defend against North Korean missile attacks. "I believe we might need a complete defense reform at the level of a rebirth, instead of making some improvements or modifications," Moon told senior military officials, according to Yonhap news agency. Australian Prime Minister rejects Trump's "fire and fury" response to North Korea threat. Read more. Another urgent task now facing us is securing defense capabilities to counter North Korea's nuclear and missile provocations. The Unification Ministry, which handles cross-border relations, said the threat against Guam would damage attempts to improve inter-Korean ties.